the one thing that I notice, right, when somebody texts me something, I read it real quick. So what I notice is that I'll get off the text or off the phone and I'll call somebody up, like the office, and I'll complain about what's going on. But when you have no time in your day, complaining here, there, it might be 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, but you're wasting an hour a day. That's a lot of time. You get a lot of stuff done in an hour. So just ignore that shit right there for a second. Give it 15 minutes, and I guarantee if you went back and looked at the text message or analyzed the situation, you're gonna say, it's not a big of a deal, and you answer the guy back nicely. And a lot of times when you answer him back sweet, it just kills the whole thing, goes in a positive direction versus going in a bad direction.
Guys, before we get started, just want to let you know, if you have any questions for us, please click the link below. You could ask us any questions via email, and we'll get back to you by the end of the episode. All right, guys, we're here for episode 29 of the Modern Man podcast. We have Danny Sabba today. We've been super thrilled to get Danny on here, chop it up. He's a super busy man. He's a dad. He's got a little baby girl at home. How old's your son?
My son's 12.
12. So he's got his hands full. My man's been doing estimates at 11 o'clock a.m., gets to the gym at 5, or 11 p.m., gets to the gym by 5. You can tell my man been watching Swellovision with them biceps. So, Danny, thanks so much for coming on, man. We're thrilled to have you today.
Thank you, Pete.
Of course.
Danny's been servicing not just the local community, but me personally for many years. He does my lawn maintenance and all my hardscape work. And I got to tell you, watching you grow from where you were, I mean, you were always pretty well established, but today, like we were talking before, just random business stuff, like you learned so much and you've expanded your footprint into so many different things. It's really admirable. Yeah. And it's an honor to sit down here today. I mean, I consider you a friend and we talk a lot, but like this is a meaningful thing for me and Pete. And to be able to share it with you today, bro, it's big for me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
For sure. We actually brought you up recently. I forgot who we were talking to.
I was talking about the big fish.
No, you know what it was? We were talking to somebody, and I said, I just talked to Danny yesterday. He told me next time somebody pisses me off to take 15 minutes before responding.
You told me that.
Yeah. We were talking about that right here. But in this world of the cell phones and the instant communication, like where somebody needs an answer right now, sometimes that answer, that tone that you gave, whether it's a phone conversation or a text, might not be really how you feel, especially if you give it 10, 15 minutes to kind of cool yourself down.
Well, you just said it.
Yeah.
Say it again. And we'll take it for what it's worth. Yeah. The first time you talk, or in that first, let's say, 15 minutes, I'm very guilty of it. I act on emotion. Yeah. And then once, like, what I say is in process, I can't go back on it. I cut my nose off to spite my face all the time, and it's a terrible thing. But you get emotion in that first interaction. If you take some time, like you say, to bring it down and actually digest what's transpiring, you get a real answer or a real response at least.
So the one thing that I notice, right, when somebody texts me something, I read it real quick, and right away I want to jump down this guy's throat within seconds, right? So what I notice is that I'll get off the text or off the phone, and I'll call somebody up, like the office, and I'll complain about what's going on. But when you have no time in your day, complaining here, there, it might be 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, but you're wasting an hour a day. That's a lot of time. You get a lot of stuff done in an hour. 100%. So just ignore that bullshit right there for a second. Yeah. Give it 15 minutes, and I guarantee if you went back and looked at the text message or analyzed the situation, you're probably going to say, it's not that big of a deal, and you answer the guy back nicely. And a lot of times when you answer him back sweet, it just kills the whole thing, goes in a positive direction versus going in a bad direction. Right. You know, it's hard to do it. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but I'm getting better at it.
You've probably gotten better. Yeah.
You are good at it. Yeah. Listen, Danny, you're in business for yourself. I'm in business for myself. Customer service. Pete can understand this, and he's dealing with it with houses and like real shit on the line.
High pressure. I was feeling all that pressure for a long time.
Yeah, but now you're not.
Every
you're
conversation
doing a good job
hit my
with
stomach.
Yeah.
Every deadline, all the angst, and it's almost like not to cut you off, Billy, but it's like we're all living life too. Like the clients are living life, we're living life. We get wrapped up in like this is our fucking life. No, it's not, dude. This is a part of our life. It's a big part, and it pays the bills and it provides a lot, but it's not fucking everything. But it's not why we're here. Is not.
At some point, you got to take a step back. And like money's nice, having an income is nice, and making sure all the bills is great. But if you're not taking time to appreciate and enjoy your family or the blessings that you have, whether it's a $10 million house or a $1,000 a month rental, you have to be happy with what you have. 100%. And I appreciate everything I have, but it doesn't define who I am as a husband, as a father or as a person, because you could take all that shit
100%.
and I'll probably figure out a way to get it all back. But I'll never be able to replace the time with my 6-year-old son
100%.
or my 4-year-old or 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. There's no way to rewind that tape.
100%.
You know, I could always get a second shot at work. I could always get a second shot to get another job. But I'll never. Last night I get a text. We went to the Devils game. It was the 5th game we've been to out of 40 plus. So I really wanted to go. Max goes to baseball practice. I have Joe Grosso bring him. I get a text. He hit incredible. He did great. He was the team captain for the night and got to pick his team at practice. I left the fucking game. I left the Devils game at the end of the 2nd period to race home and give my son a hug because I was so proud and so mad that I wasn't there for it.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. You ever get sometimes when somebody will shoot you a text or give you a call and be like, bro, I want to be like you.
I hate that.
And then you know what I say to them? You don't want this life.
Yeah, I can.
And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you know what? You might see me out at my son's basketball game, maybe on Instagram playing with my daughter, or you might see me out drinking a beer with the fellas. But that's a small fraction of exactly what I do. Yeah. And the work that I put in, I can't count how many hours I actually work a day. I can only count how many hours I take off. It's probably about 6, and that's when I'm sleeping. Right. Because everything else is work. It's just, and every time I get a text, put it in the calendar. Because I got to make time. Every 30 minutes is a different spot where I got to be. And then you can have a whole plan for the day, and it all change within one phone call. Oh, yeah. And then the next phone call, and then the next phone call. So you know what? I learned you can get all excited about this stuff, but you're going to get nothing done. Yeah. You just got to sit back and think about, okay, what's important, what's not important. Okay, these people got to wait. I'm only one person. Or what work can I allocate to another department? Throw this at my mother in the office. Throw this at my father. Mm-hmm. Throw this to my brother who's my realtor. Throw this over to the title, whatever the case may be. But you got to learn how to shift the work around because I'm the guy that, oh yeah, your sprinkler system ain't working? Let me jump in this hole and let me fix this pipe so we can get this patio done, right?
We've actually been there at my house on Friendship.
We were there, and I'm jumping in the hole, right?
Yeah, and Danny being the guy he is, Danny came in, he gives us a quote, and I don't price shop Danny. I trust everything he does. He could tell me that we did the patio, and now you need all new sprinklers. I'm like, damn, that sucks, but I guess it was unavoidable because I trust Danny. Yeah. Danny's in there breaking his ass to figure out how to fix the sprinklers. Not his fault.
Meanwhile, the phone's blowing up.
And I'm like, bro, you have to just add to the bill for this. He's like, absolutely not. We got this. We're here. They're over there. I was like, bro, just, I'll take care of it. Yeah. Like, I appreciate you. But he's all in all the time. If it's his job site, he's rectifying, he's remedying, and he's taking care of it. But that's a bad hat to wear at the same time.
It is a bad hat to wear. And these people nowadays, not to get into this subject, but people are a little different nowadays, you know?
No one's ever happy.
No one's ever happy. You know, you can sit down with somebody, go over colors with them. They could pick out a color of a patio. And they pick the color out. You didn't pick the color out. You didn't make the product. You laid the whole color out. And then when the thing's all done, you're like, wow, I can't wait to get a compliment from this customer and collect my final check. And then you knock on Mrs. Jones's door and she's like, this is not the color I wanted. And I'm just in complete shock. And I'm like, is the sun out today? What's going on? What's the real problem? But then you find out there's other reasons. But it's in today's world, it's a little different, man.
You never know what someone's going through. And I understand that. Like you said, you know, there's always a different reason, right? And I'm having a hard time grasping the concept that you're going to shit on me because you're going through something personally. Like,
yeah.
I'm going through something personally literally every fucking day, and I try to be as nice as possible.
Right.
Now, what does happen is you shit on me enough, and we're here. And now you're catching my...
Well, now the septic tank is overloading right now.
Yeah, so now it's time to go. Now you're getting the horns, and... I don't like getting there, but people, as a business owner, they think that you have to cater to them. Yeah. And that you work for them, sure, but they think you work for them. Mm-hmm. Not all money is good money, and not all business needs to be done, at least with me.
No,
that's 100% for you guys, though, over time. I'm sure in the beginning, you were freaking felt like you needed every single job. Yeah. No matter what kind of energy they had or what type of invoice that they were going to pay or not pay, or you're just eager for everything.
That's ego, because you want your footprint. Now I want to cater to the people that I know are going to be loyal to me.
Yeah, like, which is the most beneficial long term.
I got customers that have been coming to us for service for 25 years. They're my number one. Yeah, I want new customers, sure, but I don't want to alienate the customers I have. I want to make sure I'm appreciative and thankful for them. Yep. Like, listen, I'm not a day one Sabba's customer, but I've been with Danny for a pretty long time. I'll never question an estimate. I'll never price shop him. What he says goes. I trust him and his work.
Yeah.
And that's how I want my customers to feel about us.
That's the best position to be in. That's like the ideal client situation too.
But you earn that.
Yeah.
You earn that by caring, and you earn that by being a good person. And some people just are not deserving of that energy.
But I got to say one thing too, because I'm thankful for where I'm at today, because all my customers are great. Customers, but not everyone's a customer. You got to, and then the next thing you got to realize, sometimes you got to take blame for yourself, because you got to sometimes you got to train your customers. You got to train them, because I'll give you an example. Someone calls me at 8:30 at night, right? I don't give out my personal cell phone a lot of times. I give out the office line, which is connected to my cell phone, but I turn it off. But at 8:30 at night, if someone's blowing my phone up, it's got to be a really big problem for me to pick up that phone. But I usually don't pick up the phone at 8:30 for a landscape need, because if it's that big of a need, you got to call 911, call the fire department, or call the police department, because it's out of my hands. But if your sprinkler head is broken or your paver's a little loose, you can call me tomorrow. You can leave a message. I get back to you tomorrow.
Respect your family time.
So at the end of the day, I won't. If you pick up that phone call once, you're going to pick it up again and again and again. And the minute you don't, you're the bad guy. So what I'm trying to say is, you got to train your customers to be better customers. Right. The hours are over.
Yeah.
You know, so see you tomorrow.
And you're setting the standard that it's acceptable when you answer.
Exactly.
And I am very guilty of that. Until recently, though. Until recently, I'll answer, like, if Pete calls me and he's got a problem with his car, or if you call me and you have a question, like, I'm good with that.
Cool.
But, like, the generic customer who does have my cell phone number, bro, I'm sorry. I can't dedicate this energy to you. I'm riding bikes with my kid, or I'm cuddling and reading a book to my daughter. Like, I don't. They need me right now.
Correct.
And my wife needs me right now. It can't be all about work. It can't be all about money. Got to check the ego sometimes, and you can't have the biggest footprint if that's what it's going to cost you.
100%. Yeah, money isn't definitely not everything. Because there's sometimes, like I said to you before, like, you know, you don't want this life. You know, I don't mean that. I mean that to a degree. At the end of the day, I love what I do. This is the reason why I do. This is my God-given purpose, to wake up and do this every single day. Because without it, honestly, then I have no purpose. Not saying I don't love my family, but I need this purpose. A man needs a purpose to wake up. And that's at the end of the day, that's what you need. But, you know, when I say that to some people don't really understand. You know, I got guys that are my age that are still playing Call of Duty at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
6 o'clock. Or people ask me, did you watch that TV show? I haven't had cable in 6 years, so I really don't know what to tell you. I don't watch sports, not because I don't like sports. I love sports. Just don't have the time. I don't have cable. The only time I play sport on PlayStation is when I'm playing my son.
Oh, sure.
You know, and I got to show him who's the man again. But that's a different story.
Madden? NBA? Okay.
Okay, in NBA, he's good.
I bet.
I don't know how he
basketball.
Do I let him? No, hell no. Hell no. So my son lost a basketball game one time, and he goes, the coach said that it doesn't matter if you lose or you win, as long as you tried. I said, that's bullshit. We raise winners in this house. It does matter if you win. And, no, I mean that to a degree.
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's good to be competitive. You know, it's a competitive world. Like, all this bull crap about losing's okay. Yeah, to a degree it's okay. But, you know, that carries on in life. When we were wrestlers, right? Let's go back to wrestling. That taught you probably the most discipline, and it gave all of it on your shoulders. You can't blame the quarterback. You can't blame this. So boxing, wrestling, it's a one-on-one sport. At the end of the day, it's not the referee. It's not your coach. It's you and the other guy. And if you lose, it's most likely your fault.
It's on you.
You know, so that's what I try to teach my son. At the end of the day, even though he's a basketball player. But listen, I don't want to force him to do nothing, but that's what he's good at.
Exactly.
You know?
And, you know, basketball right now is just where he's going to get this competitive nature and everything. But basketball is going to be done at one point. Whether he...
100%.
And he's got life.
You know, whether he's 40 years old, still playing the NBA like LeBron, or if it's over at 18, 22, it's going to be done. You know, now what? All right, now you take everything that you learned in basketball. You know, the coach that said losing's okay... It's okay to take L's. You guys take L's in business all the time.
That's how you respond to it.
You guys take L's all the time in business.
That's why
we had Scott Kirk at practice yesterday. I stopped practice early, and I talked to the kids for 20 minutes just about life and fucking life after wrestling and how shit's really going to go that we didn't know when we were young. about being a dad and your livelihood on the line and all the pressure that we feel on a daily basis. And Scott says he gets 40% of his jobs. So if it was a wrestling record, he had 100 matches, he would go 40 and 60. It looks like a losing record on paper, but then they're Monmouth County Business of the Year in and year out. So he's taking 60% L's, but he's still winning where he needs to win, you know, or winning enough.
That's why I've said it. I want Max to learn to lose at an early age, especially in wrestling. It's a tough sport that teaches you a life lesson. But the other day, he just started playing baseball. We're going to baseball practice, his first practice. I said, what's the most important thing? He goes, that we work hard. I said, yes, absolutely. I said, but we're here to have fun too. Now, this day one, I said, you've been wrestling for 2 years and playing football for 2 years. I said, you've never told me that the number one thing is to work hard. He goes, well, I really like baseball, Dad.
So it's already fun. So now he's trying to work hard to get better.
And has never played. So, but I mean, we've thrown a ball and stuff in the backyard, and I was a big baseball player. My wife was a D1 softball player. So maybe he picked up on that. But it was funny to me to hear him say, going to day one, we got to work hard. But going to day 400 at Coach Pete's. I want to have fun. I hope we play Sharks and Minnows today. Like, what are we talking about? But it sets them up for life down the line. You know, you're learning to lose today. Like Pete said, I take losses, you take losses, you take losses.
All day,
It's just how you respond
all the time.
to it,
It's
bro.
how you respond. It's how you counter, bro. And every every loss is not a loss. It's a lesson. You know, that's 100%. How you gotta look at it, bro.
100%.
You know?
It's the same thing in life, too. Like, when life throws us these epic L's that, you know, we're kind of sitting there in our own head or in our own shit. You know, I'm grateful now. I'm super grateful in these 4-minute plunges twice a day. I'm thankful for overwhelmingness, anxiety, depression, abuse and alcohol, seizures. Thank you for all that shit. Thank you for every single L, whatever you want to call it, down moment. Without that shit, I would be that entitled little whole life is handed to you shitbird with a fucking punk attitude. You know, thank you for grounding me, humbling me, forcing me to find ways to make myself feel better, get myself right. You know, so Billy and I really started this specific to like men's mental health and like finding ways to like navigate life. And just in a short time talking to you really frequently with all the real estate transactions and stuff, I just noticed your demeanor. Even like when we first started working together, maybe that was 2 years ago or so, you could feel that, like, you feel kind of like in your energy that you were up late with work, that your phone was blowing up, and that this transaction is now like another thing. It's like shit, like the lid's going off on this one, and now this thing's beeping in the, you know, in the kitchen. But I just noticed like the progress and like the perspective that you've had lately. I wonder if that's your daughter, or like did a light bulb go off and you said, fuck, this ain't sustainable. I can't carry this stress around and expect to be around for 80 fucking years like that. Like,
you kind of sit back sometimes, you analyze the situation, and you're like, okay, listen, this is not a 5-year sport, 10-year sport. This is a 40-year sport. So how am I going to last 4 years? You know, if the engine seizes on a car, Bill knows it's done, right? So if I'm going to sit there and have a stroke over something,
that's what I mean.
I can't go to longevity. So what can I do in 40 years? I can do a lot of damage, but what can I do in 20? Not so much, you know? And if I need to be fully intact, brain, health, this, that, I got to last the longevity, because it's not about what you can do in 2 years. It's about what you can do in, like I said, 40.
What made you come to that realization?
Because
like, how did you get
you probably
to that
got
point?
to so many fucking boiling points, though, between real estate and Sabba's. Like,
you got a lot going on, bro.
I mean, what came to that realization is, you know, what came important to me in life at the time. You know, maybe 2 years ago, certain things changed in my life, and what came important and what's not so important. And then when you factor out those things, and then when you take away the things that are not so important, I hate to say it, but it makes room for everything else. You know? So, you know, I might not have the patience to do something because something else is taking it away from me.
100%.
So if you get rid of that bad stuff that that's taking away that good energy, you just make room. And then you sit back, you know, and you can think with a clear head, because sometimes in the mix of things, you can't think with a clear head. You got to have like almost like a, not to sound weird, but an outer body experience, looking down and saying, what do I look like right now? How would this guy handle this situation? The guy that I want to be, how is he going to handle that situation? So if I want to be this guy, listen, the guy's driving down the road, a guy got a flat tire, or whatever the case may be, it's going on at the time. I mean, not to bring up politics, but how would Donald Trump handle that thing? What's a flat tire to Donald Trump?
Yeah,
so I want to be, not saying I want to be Donald Trump, trust me, I don't want to be orange with that, with
your hair is much better, bro. Much
so
better.
listen, but I'm just trying to say, how would this guy react to the situation? So sometimes my small problems look crazy that I'm actually bugging out over them.
Right.
So if you learn how to, and listen, it's still a work in progress.
Well, the problem,
you know?
too, is there, at least for me, it's all small problems. The problem is there's so many small problems
Now
sometimes.
you got that septic tank that's full again.
Yeah, and it's tough to figure out how to manage it. Because Pete knows, I've discussed it a million times. I'd be up until I went to bed trying to figure out how to rectify situations. Now I've realized, 8 o'clock at night, realistically, what am I doing? There's nothing I can do to fix this.
So I'm on the way here, and an inspector comes by the job site. We, in the mix of doing a job with a retaining wall, this, that, all going on, he wants to know where's the fence permit. All we're doing is replacing 5 panels of fence for the guy. There's 5 panels there that are rotting away. They're a hazard, and we're putting up 5 other sections. The inspector pulled up to the job. He's like, I'll take this down now, So I'm on the way here. I got other people buzzing me in. My brother Anthony, this person, my mother, this person. So I'm like telling my guy, I was like, all right, so this is what you do. Go knock on the door and introduce the inspector to the homeowner, and let's see if they could figure it out. Call me back. At the end of the day, I could have bugged out, wasted a lot of energy.
I'm sure.
Had a heart attack on the way here, never made it to this podcast.
Seriously,
Yeah,
but
but
even
that's
even
real.
younger version
Yeah,
of you.
it's real.
That's real.
But you know what?
Even younger you might have done
wasn't that first problem that happened all day. There was a bunch of little things that happened
That's what I
since
said.
5 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
From the time that I start working, 5 a.m. to now, I put in a full day by lunchtime. Well, guys are just waking up out of bed playing Xbox all night.
Bro, and that's the thing that people don't understand when they say things like it must be nice. Well, it must be nice. Yeah, it must be nice to wake up and go play Xbox at fucking noon.
Yeah.
What's not nice is having, in the world of small problems, you equated it to a flat tire. It's not nice having 300 fucking flat tires by noon.
Right.
Having to put out little fires here, little fires
That's
there.
all energy too.
Yeah, and this guy didn't show up to work, or this guy's mad because he didn't get to drive the truck that he wanted, or he didn't do his morning inspection. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's all little fires that got to be put out, and by noon, you're drained, bro.
Sure.
You're drained.
You're drained. Everyone's pulling you everywhere.
Yeah.
And by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's like my brain is like the scarecrow from Wizard of Oz. You look at me, I have nothing left in it, bro.
Yeah.
I gave it my all today. I gave it my all today, and now I'm just full,
But you wake up tomorrow and you do the same thing.
Bro, it's just consistency, bro.
I know.
It's not about how smart you are. It's about consistency. If you continue to keep doing the same thing every day, that's all what it's about.
Yep.
I love when people say, yo, you got big so fast. Where were you the last 20 years?
Yeah.
The last job I had was Home Depot when I was 19 years old. I hadn't had a job since. I've been working for myself.
Yep.
So it's not like it just came over to me overnight. It's something that bubbled up. You just weren't watching it bubble. And I was there doing it.
Now, you did get big real fast in the investment world.
Yeah, but that's been years in the making too, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but now you're able to teach people, and I see your videos now. Some
your
people
name.
don't have enough deals. You got too many.
That's what Trevor just said. Trevor said he saw you, by the way, in Point Pleasant yesterday. My buddy Trevor West.
Okay.
He said he beeped at you.
Great dude,
Okay.
Trevor. But you are taking on a role now as a leader in an industry that there are people that have been doing this their entire lives, and I'm not saying you're new to it.
Yeah, but I am new to it.
In a short period of time, you've amassed a large amount of knowledge that you can share with people and teach people how to put their income to use.
Which is a great point, because the way he handles real estate is much better than seasoned professionals that only do real estate every day, whether that be a realtor, a title company. I feel everybody's energy. So you could say one thing, and just the way it comes across, I can feel it. I just have that unique way about me. And this dude handles all this shit way better than the people that are all in doing this every transaction. But sometimes that energy might be a little bit of desperation on that individual, or they could have had a pretty rough day prior to seeing that last email, or they could really wanted to close and whatnot. But that's why I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
But that's probably come from years of experience. And I know that in the beginning of your real estate stuff, like, you've seen a lot over time, which is probably why you have these calluses now to understand what's important and what's not.
Correct, yeah.
But like, you've seen a lot.
You know, I mean, listen, when I first started out with real estate when I was 23 years old, I was cutting a lawn. Some Jamaican guy comes out. He says, "Did you read this book, man?" I said, "No, I didn't read it." So he hands me Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Cool. So I read the book, read right through it. Then I bought his next book. Then I bought his next book, Cash Flow, the investing one. I'm reading all this stuff, and I'm like trying to apply the real estate to my life with the whole cash flow quadrant and all that stuff. I'm trying to apply it, but I'm in Monmouth County. I'm applying these numbers to even Brick, Howell, Freehold. The numbers are not adding up. They're not making sense, right? It doesn't make sense at all. Basically, I'm buying a piece of property, renting it out, and I'm not making any money. So the whole purpose of investing is to be, for my opinion, is to create financial freedom. So what I'm doing is I'm taking on more of a burden. So when this guy doesn't pay me, to me, it's becoming a liability. And listen, at that point, it's like, yeah, do I make a capital gain over 10 years? Yeah, but the struggle that I'm going to go through, I can't only do one deal. If the first deal doesn't make sense, the second deal doesn't make sense, the third deal, you can't build a house on shit bricks. Truth. You know, so at the end of the day, it's like I'm applying this to numbers that don't make sense. So, you know, the luck of Instagram, you know, going through people's stuff, and I stumbled upon this guy that's happened to be a fraud now, but that's besides the point. And I drove myself down to Patterson and worked with his sister-in-law. And she got me understanding how people build these portfolios and how they start out with, you know, I love the Instagram story. Start out with nothing, pull a line of credit. Listen, we all know your lender. We all know where that goes. It
sounds good.
Sounds great on Instagram, right? You probably got like 1 million likes off of it. Good for you. Yeah. You can take that home to your mom. But at the end of the day, though, it's not real life. So, you know, just say you have $100 grand to start with, and you have a good debt to income ratio. Apply that to places that I hate to say that people don't want to go. The cap rate, the income is going to be a lot bigger. And yeah, is it risky? Yeah. The first house I walked into, I stepped over a body on the floor and the guy was high out of his mind. Damn. But that's the house that I wanted. Right. Because at the end of the day is that it made sense number-wise. And, you know, the guy from Monmouth County is going to step over that body and say, let's get the hell out of here. Right. But me, I'm like, listen, the price just went down 10%. You know? So if it makes number sense, then it makes sense and that's it. Because at the end of the day, whether you're buying a house in the hood, or if you're buying it for bottom barrel price, we all know it's always going to go up. You know, my first house I bought was $109,000. Rental property. I did a flip in Howell before that, a couple flips before that, but my first rental property was for $109,000. At that point in my life, I was like, how can I lose? Right. You know, my car's $100,000 now. Right. You know, not saying that I'm rich, but that's the average car now, right? Bill knows. Yep. You can't buy a car for anything less than $50,000 anymore. It's like,
especially if you need like a family SUV.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You're done.
You're banged out, bro.
Yeah. I mean, so at the end of the day, is, you know, that's more of a liability to me to buy this $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 SUV for your family riding around in style than buying a $100,000 building that you know is going to be, that building today is worth $400,000. And I only bought that in 2021. Beautiful. 2020, 2021. Took a little bit of time to close.
But now you've also refined your process because you'll do a cash out refi or whatever. And I know this from watching your Instagram stories. So it's not like I'm giving away Danny's secrets because he's telling everybody. But like you'll go into a property and you'll be able to suck the equity out, realize some real money up front, and then you still are cash flow positive.
So you got to analyze every situation here. So like, listen, some properties, they only want cash buyers because it's not going to get approved for a loan. You know, certain these properties are so distressed at the end of the day, you know, for $150,000, $200,000, they're not going to get approved for a loan. So you got no choice but to buy them cash. But if you can go into these properties and you say the property is $200,000, rehab it for $100,000, you into it for $3,000, the property's worth $4,000, that's a deal for everybody if you have the funds. Right. You know, that's a deal that everyone could do. You could play that game every single day and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Forever, how long you want to do it for. And that's the reason why I said to myself, listen, like right now I got almost 30 apartments. I'm like, listen, so how do I have these guys that, you know, listen, I don't compare myself, but I want to put myself up in a race with people who are doing bigger things. So guys that have 1,000 units, 2,000 units, apartment complexes, how do I get there? Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I didn't come from a family with a lot of money, but at the end of the day is how am I going to get that money? Well, yeah, if you have an idea that sells, that's why I start these partnerships up. You know, I'm not doing it to be the next schemer, the next flipping NJ or, you know, the next con artist. But if you're finding real deals and these deals make sense number-wise and you have 5 of them. At the time during COVID, I probably had 10 of them on my lap. And I can only do 1 or 2 at a time.
True.
So the other one's just gone the waste. They went in the garbage.
Right.
But if I can make somebody 25%, 30% on their money, there's no really real reason that I shouldn't be offering to somebody else. Yeah, I got to make a little money for my time, my system that works. Listen, that's more than fair, right?
That's it.
At the end of the day, it's more than fair. So, but I asked somebody one time, they're like, well, you're gonna split 50% down the middle after I invest this and this. I said, the problem you have is, Joe, is that you're looking at what I'm making. Look at what you're making.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about if you hand me $1 million and in 10 years I make you $1 million on top of that million. Why are you worried about what I made?
Right.
So you're just worried about what I made. I'm doing all the work.
And the other part is they can't do it
experience.
without you. Most people don't have the knowledge. So if you didn't need me and I wasn't deserving of that money,
then go
where
do it
would
on
you
your
be?
own.
Go do it on your
Do
own.
it yourself.
Yeah. Find
Do
the
it
deal,
yourself.
put the deal together, have the knowledge to work it.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to pay me.
Yeah. And look, listen, I'll be honest. Now we're taking different approaches on deals. Like we're not finding them. They're not being handed so easily right now. The market's scarce. There's no inventory, right? But people that are on my list right now that want to get on deals, I'm not picking up anything just to take their money.
Yeah.
I won't do that because I'm not going to, ruin my name over making a sale on something that doesn't make any sense. So at the end of the day is I'd rather protect my name. And listen, if you don't want to be patient, get off the list and go somewhere else. Do it yourself. Yeah. But I'm going to do this one brick at a time until I build a wall. And that's it.
That's it.
I
love that.
You're doing a good job building, though. Your bricks
are
strong. Yeah.
Strong brick stacking.
Yeah.
I mean, outside looking in, Dan, you've put a lot of moves together in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're all winners. I have no idea if they are.
No, listen, there's some losers and there's some L's there.
Well, you got to learn.
Yeah.
That's one way to learn is to take the loss. But you've put together, on the outside looking in, a great program that you're not shy about teaching and discussing with other people. And it's not so much the time it takes for you to put the deal together. Let's say it takes you 5 minutes. It's the knowledge that you've amassed over time that you're now enabling these people to use your knowledge, and you're entitled to get paid for that.
100%.
So it comes to a point, right? Listen, when it first started out, they'd see something, and I get a phone call from a buddy, and I spend some time with him on the phone. But my Instagram will get flooded with questions. And then I'm at one point, and it's sad to say, where I'm answering people back with copy and paste notes. How do I get involved? Okay, boom, I have a question, answer for that. How much money do I need? And where do I get it from? Boom, I have a question for that. Boom, copy and paste it. I hate to be that guy, but I go through my DMs and I got 20 people I got to get back to. And then my daughter's over there wants me to play with her. And then my son's got basketball and I got 50 estimates to write up. You're going to be on copy and paste mode.
100%.
I mean, unless you're Bill, I get on the phone with you and say, listen, this is how we're doing it. We'll talk over the phone. But unfortunately, you got to know, you don't got that time for everybody.
Good.
And it's nothing.
Great
it's
that
nothing
you have
bad.
that awareness, though.
Something
I was
bad.
going to say the same thing, Pete.
Because what really separates you from somebody else that's trying to get where you're going to get is that they may, unfortunately, leave these loved ones on the back burner. Then you guys are both 60 years old, and your daughter's over here thrilled about her dad, and the other situation is wondering where the hell dad's been. Oh,
Yeah.
dad was
you're right.
chasing the money.
Chasing
Dad
money,
was
yeah.
chasing the money the whole time. I don't even really know that fucking guy.
Yeah.
He got a nice portfolio, but I don't know nothing about him. I don't even know if he's coming to the wedding
No,
today.
you're right.
Well,
You're
and
right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, your daughter's in tears on that dance.
Yeah, the money don't matter at that point,
It
bro.
don't,
That's
it
the
don't
thing.
matter,
You
bro.
just blew it. You blew it
You
now.
blew it. It's all
Yeah,
for,
it's
it was
over.
all for what?
But the money
Yeah.
doesn't matter to kids.
Oh, I know.
No,
Listen,
it doesn't.
my kids are 6, 4, and 2, so they don't know shit about the real world. Now, your son is 12. Maybe it's a little different.
It starts
He gets
changing.
grind.
It starts changing a little bit.
Definitely.
But
It does.
I'm sure he'd rather have your time at a basketball game or just shooting hoops with him, hanging out, instead of being like, oh yeah, I could go to the store and I could buy whatever sneakers I
Nah,
want.
he's
'cause
12, bro.
Dad's
He
got
wants
it.
both.
Yeah,
He wants both at 12,
At
bro.
12, it starts changing.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
I know right now, my kids don't know shit except give daddy a hug. I love you. Let's cook together.
That's great,
Daddy,
yeah.
let's cuddle and read a
Yeah.
book. And that's value for me. Right?
100%.
Like, money's great, but it's not everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
once I realized that, life got a little bit better because I
Yeah.
appreciated what gave me real joy and comfort more. So, it's nice to see money in the bank or no, you don't have to worry. But, I find genuine peace knowing that I could hold my little girls or my son and all my problems for that minute are gone.
Stay in the moment.
They don't fucking matter.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, like, it's like you guys probably were brought up the same type of way I was brought up. You know, our parents worked in that era where my father worked day and night.
Yep.
You know, truck driver, 15 hours a day. Then he had a job after that. You know, so at the end of the day, my father was around, but he wasn't around.
Right.
You know, but he was around. Like I'm not saying he was a great dad,
100%.
but he was busting his ass.
But he didn't have a choice.
He'd have a choice.
Exactly.
We have a choice, and that's the difference.
Yeah, we do.
We have a choice.
You get greedy sometimes, you know, and then sometimes you want more, and that's where it gets worth. Well,
You're right.
you know, it's not worth it. But
I don't need all of it. I
know.
need a slice of pizza from the pie. I don't need the whole pie because there's so much more to fill my tank.
yeah,
Right,
I pull up in the drive the other day, and I had a couple minutes. I said, you know what? Let me ask my son if he wants to play basketball. Take him on. It's on like a Saturday, and it's like probably like 11, 12 o'clock. He's just waking up from playing his Xbox all night, right?
Yeah.
So I go in the house and say, Gage, you're not answering your phone. Oh, he's sleeping. All right, go in this room. Yo, you want to play basketball? I never seen someone jump out of the bed so fast.
love it.
He didn't even brush his teeth. He's like, let's go.
I love it.
Let's go.
See?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that. I didn't say get out of bed. I'm taking to a flight to Miami right now. I said I'm going to play basketball in the backyard.
right
His
here.
reaction was like he was going to Vegas. You know.
Yeah.
But it's
Now, maybe he's had that brewing for a while. Maybe that's
he
been on
needed
his
some
mind.
dad
he's
time.
always
just ready.
always looking for it, man.
I love
And that's
it.
good. You
That's
know.
great.
He's never something about him. He's never too old to say, you know, Dad, let's hang out. Let's
I love it.
go. You know, let's
That's
do
tremendous.
something.
You do know at some point, and
Oh yeah.
that's going to end.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So
And I'll
you
tell
got to
you,
take it
That
while
makes
you
you
can.
more intrigued to get out there and do it.
I realized this
forever.
a couple months ago. A friend of mine has an older kid. He's like 16, and they were always attached at the hip. They did everything together. This kid wanted nothing more than to be with his father. Now it's like a struggle for him to get his son to hang out with him.
Oh boy, dude, you got the girls now.
And we talked, and he's like, "Bro, just take the time you can with your kids now because you're not going to be the cool dad forever."
Yeah.
And granted, I got some time, but I'm trying to make the time that I have count before Max doesn't want to, ride bikes with me or whatever, you know.
right.
And I'm sure you're doing the same with Gage.
Well, so what happened with me is, you know, you guys know, but you know, the podcast don't know. But I met my wife when I was 30 years old, and she came with a 4-year-old son, and that's my son now. But you know, when she first came, you know, brought into the house, and he was going to Toms River School District and whatnot, and you know, in the beginning stages, it was like, okay, well. It was rough. Don't get me wrong. I have stories for you guys that I probably don't want to, say on this thing because I was going through like shit. It's like something like you go into war, right? I never shot a gun, and some guy hands you a gun and goes, "Go into the military."
Yeah,
and
bro.
I'm like, I'm a single guy.
Right.
Nothing
And now
bad.
you got a 4-year-old.
Nothing that I did bad, but like I'm a single guy. Now I got a girlfriend, and now I'm a father, and I'm like, holy shit! How did my life just change? All I do is want to take a shit in peace, and I can't even do that.
You can't.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
can
like,
imagine.
so it's like crazy, bro.
I know the
Everything's
feeling.
going on at once.
Yeah.
But like the first, like I want to say, like 2-3 years, I didn't feel guilty by overworking. I didn't feel guilty because in my head I was like, well, I'm doing more than the other guy was doing. You know, the other guy's not around.
Also, you
Right,
weren't
right.
there.
You had that comparison of somebody else that wasn't coming through.
Yeah,
So
I was
you can
doing
tell
more.
yourself that you're doing an
I'm
amazing
good.
job.
And they'll pat me on my back all I
Yeah.
want because I'm putting food on the table. I'm putting
Right.
clothes on his back. He's got Jordan's on his
Christmas
feet.
is great.
Christmas is great.
Yeah.
And do I spend a little time taking him out to dinner? Yeah, but
Here and there.
in
but
my head, he wasn't main priority.
I can
But
imagine.
your
because-
whole world changed.
Well, when my wife
That's
got...
That was new to you, but that's
but
what I was
that's a
going
unique
to say.
role. He wasn't there
Yeah.
today at the hospital.
That's what I was
No,
going to
He
say.
wasn't
No.
there the whole 9 months leading
So it
up.
was different
You know
for
what
you,
I'm
like-
saying? That's kind of
When I
that's a
had-
special role, though, dude.
Yeah.
I just got
And
the
it takes a
chills thinking
special
about
man
that.
to take
Yeah.
that on.
Mhm. John Riley's in that same realm.
Don't
Yeah.
hold yourself back or discredit yourself for those not being there so much in the beginning. Because, like, for me, Max was born. I realized shit changed for me. And I'm sitting there, I grabbed this little baby. But I had that first year, 2 years where he wasn't really doing much.
Yeah.
And we weren't really
Yeah.
homies.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I was still at work,
I
bro.
can imagine.
Like, so don't
Yeah.
hold that against yourself.
Yeah.
Because, like, you went from single, working man Danny to daddy. Right
know,
away.
over-
You
right
didn't
like
have
this.
that. You didn't have that ease in transition where I did from a toddler or an infant
Yeah.
to a 2-year-old where now I can figure it out.
It's almost like
and
a
realize it.
2-year buffer.
It's like a
You know,
learning.
he's stuck in
yeah,
the corner.
buffer.
He's
Yeah.
stuck in
Yeah.
the chair. You're like, I'm going to work.
Yeah,
What the fuck
you didn't
doing?
have that,
Yeah,
bro.
because
So-
even like with my wife will be pregnant, and I'll be like, yo, I'm going to grab a beer with the guys. She's like, but I'm pregnant. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not kicking in all the way, right? And then when your daughter comes out, it still kicks in, but it's not all there yet. listen, I don't, everyone's a little different, but when my daughter came out, there is definitely a lot of emotion going on, but there's not a physical bond yet.
No, 100%. It's got to be created.
The bond gets stronger, and stronger over time. Like right now, it's like me, it's like Batman and Robin, me and my daughter. We're tight. But in the beginning, you're like, well, let's face it, all these babies are ugly, right?
Yeah,
so it's like,
they're all tiny. You got the big arms.
Yeah, you're like. But at the end of the day, though, it takes a little bit of time. But what I did realize what happened was that from my daughter being born, something told me that my energy doesn't have to go towards, it has to, but not so much towards her, but has to go towards him because he's got an expiration date on him. Yep. He's got, like Bill said, like another year or two, maybe 3 years tops before he starts going into another direction where my time's not good anymore. My daughter right now, she don't need me right now. She doesn't, let's be honest.
And you got so much time.
She's 20 months old. She don't need me.
20 months.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're in a holding pattern.
You got these nipples with no milk in them.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're useless, bro. You're useless.
Yeah.
You're in a holding pattern until like they really develop that personality. For me, it was like 3 years old. They started to really come out of their shell and like daddy could shine. Now, I knew I wanted to be a good dad the whole time. I just didn't really know how to do it.
I was like, I sat back for a second. I was like, I fucking suck. I suck at this shit, man. I'm never home. Never home. I'm always working.
When was that? When did you have that moment? Like,
probably about a good February last year.
God bless.
Yeah.
But did you realize how good you were too, though?
Things started kicking, though. Maybe that was the deep breath that you needed.
I had real estate deals going on. I had rental properties. It's the way that I handled my problems were a little bit differently, And then, then you sit back and you say to myself, do I want to be like the guys that I'm hanging out with right now? Do I want to analyze your circle for a second, and whether or not, like, listen, my whole life I hung out with people who were doing always, I hate to say it, but a little bit less than me or not doing the right thing. So I'm always shining like a rose hanging around these people. So I always feel like I'm the fastest guy in the group. So I'm doing good. Yeah. But then I put myself out of that circle and go into a different circle, maybe with Bill and maybe with somebody else. And I'm like, okay, now we're running a tough race right now. The problem was that I was hanging around the wrong people and not that I was doing anything crazy bad, but at the time it was rubbing off because, what they say, bad morals corrupt good morals. And, it just kind of rubbed off a little bit. And I noticed it. And the guy that I wanted to be wasn't a guy that would hang out with this group of people.
Well, they say, show me who your friends are, I'll show you who you are.
Yeah.
And you are a product of what you're around. So later in life, I've realized if I want to elevate myself, I have to elevate my company. And now I still love people that I've been around and friends with from the time I'm 3 years old, but in different capacities. So, like, I want to socialize with you. I want to laugh. I want to reminisce. But, like, if we're talking about real life shit going forward, you can't teach me how to build. You can't teach me how to do better when you're living in your mother's basement at 40 years old. And that's not a knock against anybody that is.
I mean, I wish I was at one point. At some point, I'm
taking right now.
Last week was spring break. I had 3 kids home sick with strep throat. Rosie's got ulcers in her mouth. I was thinking about moving to my mom's basement last week. I was ready to go. But like, that's not a knock.
Holiday Inn Express for a few days.
Yeah. If you're not doing better than me, or at least close to where I'm at, or doing something that I've wanted to accomplish, don't try to teach me because you and Xbox only got you so far. You got $15 in the bank. You live in your mother's basement. You're 40 years old. You've done nothing. So now, if you took your shot and you blew it, I'll listen to you. But if you've done nothing,
you got a failure story. I'll tell you.
I want to hear
how you failed and what you would have done.
Yeah, because that's value. That's value. But if you ain't got off the fucking couch to make a move, we got nothing to talk about.
No, listen, even if the person you're hanging out with is not in the same financial spot that you're in, there's still some key factors that they might have or some qualities they might have.
I agree.
So, like, I have a buddy who's doing very, very well, but he's so dedicated to the gym, and I take that good quality. I'm like, well, this is my gym partner now. Okay? That's my gym partner.
But that's what I'm saying. They have to do something you want to do. Like, you can't just be sitting there. I have people in my life all the time that have accomplished nothing, that are complete wastes of space, that want to tell me, like, bro, you can't do that. Why can't I do it? Because you
That's why
can't
you're
do
talking
it.
so passionately right now. This
Yeah.
is real. You got some.
Nah, this is legitimate. Like,
Yeah.
bro, don't tell me your limitations. Let me learn mine.
Those are
because-
usually the ones with a lot to say, though.
Yeah, always.
You know, that's a lot of wasted energy if you could tell somebody else how to live their own.
But I
damn
can
life.
have a friend that.
Bro, people try to do that shit all the time, bro.
Yeah, I'm not
You know
listening.
what? Sometimes I just fucking start doing something different, not even listen to them.
Yeah, I can
You know?
imagine.
I just
Good,
walk
it's
away
the
from
best
Unless
way
it's
to
my
do it.
mother, you know, at the same
Yeah.
time, it's my mother, I gotta listen then.
Oh, Tony's the absolute best.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's tough
She really
listening to my
is.
mother sometimes.
Tony and I
Oh,
were
bro,
on
it's
the
the
phone.
roughest
Oh, yeah.
thing. But sometimes she'll tie it all in. It makes sense. I could tell
Yeah.
her. I could tell her, like, oh, I'm not feeling good. I'm constipated. She'd be like, oh, go to the Bible, verse John, Matthew 2,
Bro.
and read this 3 times. And
My mother will.
I'm like, how's that gonna cure my stomach problem?
But the thing is,
everything's
Got your mind right before you know you took some deep breaths and the bubble guts went away.
Yeah.
my mother is so guilty of that, though. Like, you could ask a question that's A, B. We're getting A all the way through X before we get to B. We went to Chicago to get the freehold. What the fuck are we doing, Mom? We just
Wow.
wasted 15 minutes. You could have gave me the answer
listen.
10 minutes ago.
Bro, I'll say yes or no question. Go.
Yeah.
You'll
The
never
answer,
get.
it's never yes or no.
It will be never yes or no.
right.
At least
you
in
know?
my.
Oh yeah. So Tony and I were on the phone and shit, probably 3 weeks ago at this point. And we were talking. It was I forgot even the reason for the call, but it was a very simple thing that she was confirming bank statements or something we needed, whatever it was. But then I'm texting Danny while we're on the phone. We're on the phone for 20 minutes. And that happens with me and Tony all the time. And sometimes she calls me John Riley, which is fine.
She still does it to me.
Yeah, she'll say John. I don't even say a word. I'm just like, what's up, Tony? And I just keep it rolling. But I love her spirit, dude. And I'm picturing what's going on in her life while I'm talking to her.
Yeah.
So she's handling Danny's stuff for the landscaping and the real estate while she's got his sister's baby like with him or his baby.
No, my daughter,
You know,
before she
your
went,
daughter.
my daughter's
Like,
in daycare now, but before my mom was watching my brother's kids,
Yeah.
my kid,
Yeah.
and then she's answering phones for Sabba. She's doing real estate. It's a lot, and she does it without even complaining.
That's
You know?
Yeah, but that's how
That
moms
grandparent role
they're
is such a
built for
blessing.
that. Because, like,
my
Could you
father would
imagine
never.
us in that same situation that
Bro,
Tony's in? Bro, I'd be
lose
done in
it.
fucking
Yeah.
15 minutes. I'm
Yeah,
fucking-
100%. But
I'd run a
phone
moms,
call and
women are
fucking
built
I would roll.
different.
I would roll the fucking the stroll out the storm door, bro.
100%.
They're built
100%.
different. Like,
You're right.
bro, my mom retired from her job in November just to take a full-time job taking care of my dad. And I
Yeah.
say that laughingly because as soon as my mother retired, my father wound up in the hospital with a major setback.
So it ended up being good timing.
Yeah, but now she wants to be the world's greatest grandmother, so she wants to see her grandkids every chance she gets. She's watching my dad taking care of what he needs. Does everything for her grandbabies.
That's great.
Max has his
Go out
first
with the
baseball
wife.
game.
That's
Yeah.
it.
She would like nothing more than us to go out every weekend and
Yeah.
her to watch my kids.
Well,
That's
you
it.
have to realize, dude, like how old's Tony?
She'll be May 5th. She'll be. I'm 38. She'll be 39. Oh, I'm sorry, 39. She's 20 years older than me. 60.
She'll be 60.
Yeah.
My dad's about to be 70. Your parents are what? in
My
their 70s?
father's 67, my mother's 66.
Yeah, so just think about us, like not quite 40 yet. You didn't turn 40 yet, right?
November.
November,
Yeah.
you'll be 40.
February. I'll be 40.
All right, so
Oh,
we're late
shit.
30s.
Yeah.
We're late 30s,
You're right there,
almost
bro.
40.
Coming up.
Think about the lens that we see the world in now, only 40 years in. It seems long from
Yeah.
where we once were. But just imagine that lens that they see everything. Of course they're fucking grateful to see your children.
Oh, yeah.
That's their babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they also know, shit, I'm 60. Tony's going, I'm fucking 60 coming up. What the hell just happened? How
Yeah.
did I get here?
And-
How much time do I have left?
that's what I was
I
gonna
better
say.
fucking answer I better help my son out while I'm still
Yeah.
here. I better get this time with these grandbabies.
Take
just
it while
like
you
us,
can.
almost
And that's
40
why the
are
money
seeing
starts
these
becoming
kids.
less valuable, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's when
Everything, I'm
because
sure.
time becomes more valuable at that point.
Holy
Well,
crap.
I'm
It's a
already
it's a
there.
pendulum, you know.
I'm
It
already
really
there.
is.
Yeah.
It shifts. Well, that's a blessing to be there at almost
But
40.
you got to remember, I'm there because I died last June.
100%.
So, like,
That's
I
back
need
to
to
the
make
O's.
my shit count. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
It
saying?
goes to Billy.
Yeah, I just got my
Ghost-
custom license plates for my wife's Escalade.
Did you?
Ghost, 13. 13's my lucky number.
It goes to Billy, bro.
Yeah,
Wow.
so, like,
What
for
was the
me...
deal with that? Danny sounds like he doesn't know the deal.
I did hear
Straight
about it,
flat
but
So
I
out
don't
or
know
not a lot
something?
of people know outside of my inner circle, but I wound up. So I'm golfing on a Saturday. I'd felt shitty all week. I fall asleep in the golf cart. I'm coughing. I'm congested. My boys ask like, "You good?" I was like, "Yeah, it's just my allergies." Next day is Sunday. My wife finds me unresponsive on her fucking bed.
Oh, shit.
I'm fucking zonked out. They revived me in my bedroom. I got zapped. They said she saved me if it wasn't for her doing CPR. I'd have been done.
Wow.
I wake up in the ER.
So she had to kiss you? Holy shit.
Yeah, she said she's
married guy. I'm really faking that actually.
She's talking about it the other night. She's saying how she like was blowing so hard in my mouth, not even doing like mouth to mouth, just to get like little gurgles out of me.
Wow, I gotta try that more often.
Yeah, right.
I'm faking that
Bro, I
tonight,
was gonna
dude.
say something, but I don't know how that would go over. But so we wake up in the hospital. I'm like fucking hooked up to all this shit, and they asked me if I had cancer. My white blood count was so out of control fighting a pneumonia infection that I didn't know I had. That their initial reaction was that I was a cancer patient.
That's
Did
crazy.
they show up with like fucking Narcan or something?
They
that
did
day,
everything.
too?
So
Yes.
I was
So you were
Narcaned. I was dead.
unresponsive, like
Bro,
out.
I was dead.
That's fucking
dead. So they had no answer as to. Now, I'm 38 years old at the time in relatively decent health.
Yeah.
Outside of some
Stress
blood
kills,
chemistry
bro. I've been
issues.
saying that for a while.
No,
Stress
but-
kills.
Well,
It's
stress
the
killed
car
in the sense
customers, bro, that did
I
that to
can
him.
imagine.
Well,
100%.
so you don't.
That's been,
you know
that's
what?
been years in the
But
making
you're
that got him
moving
there.
so much.
Yeah,
You're
not
worried about
sleeping.
everything else. I'm neglecting my body already. I had already had
Yeah.
blood chemistry issues, triglycerides, this, that, and the third. And now I'm not listening to my body telling me it's fighting an infection. So now my body shuts down. They come in, they ask my wife, does he have any medical history? I've got no medical history, triglycerides, cholesterol, lipids,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Is he sick? Is he, whatever? Is he doing drugs? No. So now they do everything. They shave my chest. They zap me. They Narcan me 3 times. Nothing happened. So now they're shaving my chest. And in hindsight, my wife was right. They zap me, but she's like, "Do you guys
I'm
want?"
just picturing. I'm sorry. I'm just picturing Austin Powers' chest hair.
I'm just, you know
and
what?
They're shaving it.
I just got one thing to say. I've been asking my wife to kiss me, shave my back and my chest for 3 weeks.
Shit, dude.
Don't shave your chest.
He's gonna be shaved.
It's the worst.
Makeout. He's gonna be good.
They shave my chest, and she's like, "Do you guys want another razor?" They're like, "No, this is the least of our concern." So like, now, fast forward, I get a tattoo on my chest. They shave my chest. I pop up with an infection or an ingrown hair. My wife starts fucking with it, like she's Dr. Pimple Popper. I wind up with staph infection. I got 3 spots in like a C shape on my chest from my wife thinking she's a fucking doctor from shaving your chest. I have surgery April 25th to finally
That's why I'm
remove it.
grateful to be Irish, dude. I got 15 chest hair tops, bro.
Bro, I got a lot of chest hair. I got a lot of hair, period.
Shit.
But it was funny that was her big, like once
You got Austin
the
Powers?
paramedics and everybody got there, her big thing was, do you want a better razor to shave his chest? They're like, bro, this is like, he's fucking dead. What are you talking about?
All right,
But
so basically,
That's
yeah,
why I
all right.
have a better lease on life now.
Right,
Like,
that probably changed everything.
I
That's
wasn't
back to those
taking no
L's
money
changing
with
everything.
me. Yeah, I wasn't taking no money with me. And what was there wasn't
Yeah.
lasting, it wasn't going to give my kids a lifetime of happiness without dad.
No.
Right.
But you know what will is Max, remember him? We played baseball in the backyard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
that shooting hoops in the
yeah,
driveway.
like that's the shit that counts. Like he
Yeah.
asked me to go to Kalahari to go to this wrestling tournament because he heard Johnny Ryan's kids were going.
Right.
I said, if you want to wrestle, he goes, I really want to go to the water park, but I do want to wrestle.
There you
All
go.
right, bet we'll go, bro. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
And
Oh, that's great.
that time with your family, worth more than any dollar is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a video kind of like that's been circulating over the years, though, and it does kind of mention to the role of dads, and it says if dad is around all the time, you don't necessarily have everything you need.
Yeah.
If he's not around, then you're missing out. So it's really hard to find that pendulum switch of,
Yeah.
because I don't know about you guys, but like you ever kind of been on the couch relaxing with the kids and whatnot and almost feeling like you could be doing more to like make money or,
Of
where-
course.
yeah,
You're not-
that
you're
energy
there, but
where-
you're not there.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
like, fuck, like I'm being lazy. It's like, no, you're not being lazy, bro.
You're taking the time
sitting
where it's
there,
supposed to be.
Your kid's soaking this in right now.
Yeah.
Try to stay dialed in on that. You can get to the fucking invoices at 10
Yeah.
o'clock when
Right
everybody
now,
goes to sleep.
I'll have moments,
Yeah.
brief moments, and they're rare where I feel that way.
Yeah.
Previously, I
Prior
felt
to
like that a lot.
all the time. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and I'm sure
Yeah.
it's similar for you with the seizures.
Definitely. Oh,
You know,
God.
if-
Oh my God, that's why
Trauma
every day I'm
puts
grateful
life
for
into
those.
perspective really
I'm
fucking
grateful
fast.
for those
Yeah, real
every
quick.
single day.
Yeah.
And listen, it doesn't have to be the extreme where you wind up in the hospital or
Right.
you blast your face on something.
Unfortunately for guys like us,
It did.
you do have to end up for some change.
Sometimes,
Listen,
yeah.
but-
Something's got to happen.
But
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to the
Whether you
stories
got
we're
to stop
telling
drinking
you.
for a DWI,
Yeah.
or whether you end up in jail for substances or the hospital for something has to give. people can tell us till they're freaking blue in the face until you got to feel it and kind of be down there. That's when in my mind the best improvements happen, and I think that's when the light bulb went off in Danny's mind.
But I mean, same time too. It all comes down to balance, because we're sitting here beating ourselves up for not having time because we're doing things and trying to make progress and have a purpose and build an empire. But what about not just compare yourself, but what about the guys who are doing nothing? What about the guys who are just sitting there, hey, my wife's going to go work, she's going to take care of the bills, and I'm going to sit there and smoke a blunt to the face and then watch TV all day. So I mean, at the same time, though,
that guy feels real unfulfilled, though, dude. That guy's probably struggling mentally.
I don't know. I'd like to feel unfulfilled like that for like 2 days, though. Like, just... I want to know
like
what that's like.
Out.
Listen, I would like to smoke an L and go on unemployment for 2 weeks.
Bro, send me the fucking check. I don't want to get out of
I'm
bed.
telling you guys right now, you guys would not last 48 hours.
No, it wouldn't last. But I want to try it.
It wouldn't last the whole 2 weeks. 100%. 100%.
So my dad sold a business many years ago, and he took like 5 months where he just did his thing. He would say he watched the Flintstones, he'd go eat at his friend's shop, have lunch. By the end of it, he was deathly bored.
Oh, I can imagine.
He had to find something to do.
It's innate within him.
And like I probably would be the same way, but I'm willing to give that lifestyle a shot. For, maybe
you guys
not.
Are all fucking talk with that. You guys are all talk.
Maybe
you wouldn't last a day on the couch.
But I'd like to find out if I would last.
Give yourself a little time out on the weekend coming up. See how long you last, bro.
You know what though? Like
the kids won't even allow that.
No, and that's what I love though, because I would. I'm not saying I would trade everything I have just for moments with my kids, because there's things that we need. We need shelter. We need food. I need to be able to provide. But there is nothing more that I enjoy than being with my kids now. As fucking wild as they could be. And like as much as I could say I wanted to move to my mom's last week because they were sick, I don't mean that. I want to hold my little girl as sick as she is. Get me sick if you have to. Like whatever it is, I want those moments now. And
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
It's
because I wonder how sustainable everything would have been for you had you not ended up in the hospital.
Nothing really is sustainable in my life, period. So like,
no, I'm saying, what's your life longevity like? Carrying that fucking stress,
but even
chasing
now,
the dollar,
bro. But even now, I tell you what it is. I mean, work's got big headaches. But as stupid as I am, my brother and I are ambitious. We started a rental car company this morning. So like, I could sit here and I could talk. I sound like Olivia Soprano, crying with 2 Virginia hams. If you ever watch The Sopranos, you get the reference. But I'm trying to put pieces in for me now that free me up in 10 years a little bit more.
There you go.
Similar to what you're doing. And I've said this to you. The real estate market and industry scares the fuck out of me.
So
and
I wish in with him and be one of those piggyback investors.
Me and my wife have discussed it. If I had any real balls, I would do it.
But I explained this thing to him before, right? He's got records that cost, what, $1 million? $1
million trucks.
$1 million trucks, right? So that scares the shit out of me more than anything. Because
he's a big time risk taker.
You're waiting on somebody to go have an accident. And not that you caused the accident, but you're waiting on that tragedy to make $1, right? The numbers work out, and I'm waiting on rent to come in on the first.
But here's the problem. I'm so far in already. And I got all the capital in, and all the payments.
So you don't have much more in you to take another fucking monster.
So I can take on something small, like starting a rental car company, or starting this, or starting that.
Right.
But taking on a monster that needs management, like real estate, where it's a project now to rehab. You're talking, if it's a cash deal, hundreds of thousands up front.
Bro,
I don't know if like physically I can handle that.
You sound like the people he's speaking to on Instagram.
So there's
let him get you 25%
there's
return
deals,
on your
right?
money.
So I got a boy that wanted to get involved on a deal, and I found a condo for him for $75,000, and he had to put down 25% plus closing fees. I mean, I think he was out of pocket like $25,000. Okay, he rents the place out for $1,700 a month. His HOA, his mortgage, everything. He still comes in pocket $800 a month. At the end of the day, though, listen, it all makes sense number wise, right? And if the person don't pay, but you collect a security deposit, right? And if you do Section 8, it's guaranteed money. So it's very hard to get beat. And people say, oh, what about Section 8? They're going to come in and destroy the house. Listen, at the end of the day
but anybody could destroy the house.
Well, first of all, let's lay that out. Anyone can destroy a house, right? But there's nothing that $3,000 really can't fix. Some sheetrock and some paint on the walls. I mean, we're not talking about a huge house. We're talking about basic, something that's around the size of the studio here. Not really much work going on. And what are the tenant going to get out of the holes in the wall? A lot of those holes are probably from just, negligence, parties, whatever they have. But they're not deliberately punching holes in the wall.
Right.
I mean, there's cases, but at the end of the day, they always, bro, I could buy a truck and have an engine blow tomorrow. Exactly. I mean, there's always a, but at the end of the day, though, if you take the number, like I think, because now I'm gearing more towards Section 8 than anything, but if you took the number of people who are paying me versus who weren't paying me, I mean, they're still coming out on top. It's all about the number. Insurance companies do the same thing
100%.
Every single day.
Yeah.
They know there's going to be some losses and there's going to be some wins, but overall, there's more wins than losses in insurance. They wouldn't be in business. And that's the same way I take it with the real estate thing. But you want to tighten up that gap between loss and wins by doing that, different ways.
If somebody wanted to ask you today, what would you tell them?
Is this somebody you?
Maybe.
Okay.
He's speaking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for a friend.
This might not apply to me because I know that I could pick up the phone and actually sit down and talk to Danny.
Okay, I got you.
But let's say the generic Instagram story watcher sees your story and they hear that you have too many deals, some people have not enough. Where do you tell them to start? What's their first step?
$50,000 in either an account, 401k, or equity in your home that you could pull out. $50,000 is minimum. I mean, people say, "Oh, on Instagram, we could buy a house with no money down."
Well, that's what I was going to say. Because
there's a lot of that TikTok bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, Peter's a lender. He could tell you. I haven't seen anyone do it yet.
Yeah, me neither.
I haven't seen anyone do it yet. I mean, I want to see it. I want to see someone that done it and sit them down and see how.
But would you even do it? I mean, zero down. What are you gonna? I mean,
I would do a deal over and over and over and over again with no money.
Well,
over and over again.
When you phrase it like that, I sound like an idiot asking.
No,
but like,
no.
For me, like
you kind of say you're kind of thinking no skin in the game. What if the value goes the other way? But these are long term.
So listen to this.
So what if the value does go down? The only time you need to worry about the value is you're going to go cash out or sell.
Well, listen,
you're not going to do either.
You lost nothing till the day you sell.
The only way I can explain this to us, because I could have paid off a bunch of houses versus having 30 apartments. I could have maybe 5 apartments and paid them all off. Okay, and keep all the money to myself and not pay the interest, not pay the flood insurance. Can you need flood insurance when you have a mortgage? Not do all the things that are overhead. But here's the deal. If you could borrow 25 cents from the bank and you could turn that into 50 cents, that's a deal you can constantly do over and over and over and over again. Yeah. So if you have $1.25 to your name, you can only do 5 deals. Okay, but when you have too many deals and the bank's saying, listen, I got a lot of money. You could borrow 25 cents all day. Yeah. As long as you can make 50 cents out of it, who cares? You know what? You can't be greedy, man. Just got to say, okay, I got to pay the VIG, and that's it. Yeah. But that's the route that you want to really go. If you want, it all depends. Everyone has a different strategy, right? So you could buy one house, and that's your one house, baby the crap out of it, nurture it, whatever you want to do to it. But that's not the route that I want to go. Not that I'm, that I want more, but my mission is to have 100 units, 1,000 units, trade them in, monopoly, buy a complex. That's the route that I want to go. And that's not saying that's the route everyone should go, but that's my strategy.
So now let's say somebody wants to get in touch with Big Fish and sit down and do something and partner with you. Do they reach out on Instagram? Do they go to the Big Fish website?
The website's probably the best way. Just email me on that. I'll look over your email. And I'll give you a shout, I'll give you a call, and go through some things with you, see if you're a candidate. Because not everyone's a candidate. There's a lot of people who want to be, involved, and everyone wants real estate deals, and everyone wants to have that. People do it for the wrong reasons sometimes. People doing it because, they want to look good on Instagram. That's one of the things
you do look good on Instagram. Just so you know, you do look good.
Well, listen, he's got Heart of the City in the background too. That's my jam.
Yeah. That's one of the best songs for those videos, 100%. Bro.
Danny's always been at the forefront with that stuff though. Like he just did. He did my fence and patio. One. Yeah. He does, bro. He does these videos and he's got like these hard track beats. I
love it.
Bro, it was the only thing I told him when he did the patio and the fence. I was like, bro, the only thing I ask is you make a video with something hard behind it.
Yeah, he said
that's all I want.
He said play some drill music behind that, I was like,
some hard.
I got something for you, Pete. 100%. I got something for you. 100%. But now it's 2024. You can come out of you can come out a little bit. Like back in when I first started my business, I was like everyone's opinion mattered, and we were talking about that earlier. And people's opinion mattered, and it mattered to me what they thought about me because I'm trying to sell and I'm trying to create some type of empire here, and I can't create an empire with people thinking that I'm a thug. At the end of the day, man, it's 2024. I got to where I'm at. And there's no reason for anyone to think bad about me. If you don't want to hire me, don't hire me. It's at that point. You probably wouldn't be good for me either. Yeah. And how about that? But, the real estate, man, the reason why I got into it is the financial freedom, to be honest, because there's almost only so much money you can make when you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
And the one thing I learned about the real estate is that the houses that I was buying with 25% down, that were, like I said, that first deal I had was first rental, 109,000. I mean, I'm putting down nickels.
Yeah.
You know, that house worth 400. How much money did I? Not even the passive income. How much money did I make in my sleep?
Yeah.
You know,
over 3-4 years.
Just say I put down $40,000 on that house.
By every night.
$40,000 on a house to make $300K.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
You know, it's not that it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
It's not like you went out and laid pavers for all that money either. It's
No,
not like
I worked.
it took your time and energy.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like while you're sleeping, while the appreciation's working in your favor. Over 4 years, you weren't digging a fucking hole for 4 years.
You weren't breaking your back to make that.
But my phone, my time was there because still to this day, I'll be the guy answering the phones a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, when there's complaints.
Bro, I was on the phone on a Saturday morning. I was going to Dunkin' Donuts or something. We were talking about one of the transactions, and I think a pipe just burst.
Yeah.
That was recently.
Yeah, a sewer pipe.
Sewer pipe.
Yeah.
So what happened that day? Did you go down there?
Yeah,
like they called you?
I went. So the sewer pipe. It's a house that we newly renovated. We did a cash out refi with you. House, guy's been living there, or it's duplex. So 2 people have been living in there, 2 families, I should say, for about a month now. So I guess the lines are long going out to the street. Yeah. So it took a little bit of time for a lot of Taco Bell, I guess, for it to back up, right?
To get to that.
Well, the guy on the bottom started.
Taco Bell.
Well, the people on the bottom are Spanish, so that was a little racist.
Okay.
But at the end of the day,
I thought you just meant Taco Bell makes you crap, dude. I would have been fine with that. Don't trust a fart.
Nothing wrong with Taco Bell, but the thing was they got hit first with the shit. Literally, they got their toilet and their tub got hit first. So I'm thinking in my head, I got Benjamin Franklin, who's like a 24-hour service down. Let me hit these guys up and go down there, let them snake the line or run a camera down the line and see where the break's at. So they come down there and they run the line, 700. They run the we call it the snake. Yeah. Can't get it unclogged. Then they run the camera down there and they realize there's a break. So now I'm like, where's the break at? And they find it. It's in the driveway. I'm like, awesome. Exterior is my shit. That's what I do. Yeah.
So Danny, I got to tell you, you've been a wealth of knowledge for many years to me, just whether it's with landscaping or recently with real estate. And I'm sure at some point I will have the balls to dive into your deep end.
Yeah.
I hope we could get you back here one day. And I'm telling everybody out there, not that my word means much, but if you're looking for somebody to give you an endorsement, if you do need, A, any landscaping, but B, you want to talk to somebody about investing in real estate, the big fish is your fucking guy. And I don't know how better to tell you. You heard his story. You hear what he's doing. You're hearing it from Pete and me that Danny's solid. And he's probably going to always be solid. So call him. Reach out. Get in touch through the website.
Yeah, 100%.
But Danny, I hope we get you back here and get some more.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. And, for me, selfishly, personally, it's been so amazing to connect with Danny. He was doing some real estate transactions. He kind of told me a little bit about what was going on with him and what kind of experience he had. And it's just been, like I said, dude, it's just been an absolute blessing. I'll be on the phone with you for 15 minutes. I get off the phone. I'm just blown away. You'll kind of just tell me about your day sometimes. And then I'll get off the phone. I'm like, I'm a fucking lazy piece of shit. And I just remember, even just a few years back, you were saying that you would do Sabbas up until about 11 at night. Like I said in the intro, going to the gym right away in the morning, phone and emails blowing up. And you also told me some real life shit on how you'd kind of handle some stress.
Yeah.
So to be able to see you now where you're at and where you're going to continue to go, dude, just been such a blessing. And we've known each other since high school.
I know, it's crazy.
Which is so awesome. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on, dude. We're super proud of you.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Tune in next week, guys. Don't forget, click the link, share. We appreciate any promotion you could help us get. We want to keep bringing guys on like Danny that could give us some good advice and good grounding techniques for life and coping styles or coping techniques, whatever. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you.
All right.
Bro, you are
That
solid.
was good, bro.